Jess, Sarah, Lynn, Melissa, Jackie. Let's see. I'm just letting a few more, I'm letting more numbers, letting more people in, let them just keep coming, get our numbers up. Already in the chat box, we have people saying, good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Liz. As a matter of fact, everyone listening in our listening audience, give us a shout out. Say good morning. Is everyone having a good Friday? It's Friday. I don't know how it looks where you are, but here in Atlanta, it's gorgeous. Good morning, Jack. Rashida, good morning. Good morning. Shakira, good morning. Ashley, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I love it. The support, the love is coming in. We can definitely feel it.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. The numbers are climbing. The numbers are climbing. Absolutely love to see the numbers climb. Sun for sure here in California. That's awesome. Happy Friday, Christine. Kalila. Grrr.
We got some North Carolina representation out there. Ashley.
Yeah. Happy Friday from North Carolina. Okay. Happy Friday. Boom, 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 boom. I'm just going to give it one more minute if you guys don't mind. Good morning. Happy Friday. Let's get it. I love it. Let's go.
It's Friday. Be fierce.
Be fierce. Waiting for 5 o'clock to say cheers from sunny California. All right. Let me see where we are now. Okay. Lynn, you ready? Sarah?
We're ready.
Melissa? Jason? I'm gonna just make sure everyone's mic is working. That's all. Everyone's on mute.
We're good.
You guys unmute yourself. Awesome. Awesome.
All good.
All good.
Here we go. Well, someone has to mute themselves because we have some background noise. Awesome. Okay, it is 12:03. I'm gonna get ready to start. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to EPM's Empower Hour Live. Today is Friday, May 21st. Like I said, it's a beautiful day here in Atlanta. I'm not sure how it is there, but we hope you have an amazing day. Today, we have an awesome group of people. As you can see on the screen, it's an army of them. They're from an amazing foundation called Catch a Lift, which is a foundation that helps post 9/11 wounded people, just in general, veterans, basically veterans, wounded veterans, progress and rehabilitate via workout and physical fitness. So they're an amazing company, amazing organization. I'm sure the stories that they can tell you will just inspire you to no end. They will be hosted today by EPM's own Jackie Finelli. She's amazing. You can see her up there. I'm not sure where she is on your screen with the flag behind her, but Jackie, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, LA. Hi, everybody. I am Jackie Finelli. I do work here for EPM, even though you can see the Catch a Lift flag in the background. I am your automation architect. And I'm very excited to have the opportunity to share the Catch a Lift mission with you today. If you don't know me in my personal life, I'm highly active in the veteran rehabilitation and support community. I have been a member of my American Legion for many years. My grandparents gave 50 years of service to the post that I am now the president of the auxiliary there and have been for a very long time. And through that, I have the opportunity to meet other 5013C organizations that are also in the same space of supporting veterans. And I got to tell you, I met Catch a Lift a few years ago. They were headquartered near my past company in Maryland. And as soon as I walked in, I just felt like it was my purpose in life to help them spread this mission. I have volunteered for them. I'm an ambassador, and I get to speak with their veterans. And what I heard as far as the true impact that they are able to have through healing the whole person, right? Physical fitness, nutrition, your mind, your soul. It's the most impactful I'd ever seen. So I have picked up that flag and I continue to carry it for Catch a Lift. And that's why I'm so excited to have them here for you today. You're going to hear in their stories the things that I heard on the phone calls about improvement and rebirth and healing. So I'm going to stop talking because they are much more powerful in this mission than me. And I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Lynn Coffland, who is the founder of Catch a Lift. She's going to tell us a little bit about the program, how she founded it, and what it does.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie. Jackie's definitely been a warrior for us. We met in person, as she said, and she was always at our vet outreach calls, which we made every day, and throughout the usually 1 month a night, we would bring volunteers in from the outside, and Jackie was always there for us. And she's been a very strong supporter, bringing the American Legion in her area into Catch a Lift, and has actually sponsored some of our veterans. So a big shout out for being always behind and having our veterans back. Thank you, Jackie. So as Jackie said, I was very blessed to start Catch a Lift. The journey was where I experienced pain at first. In 2009, my brother, youngest brother, who really was my closest friend, he enlisted 1 month shy of his 42nd birthday. And he believed throughout his life that physical fitness changed you mentally and physically. And he lived that throughout his entire life. After 9/11, he was really called to duty to serve our country, and he investigated it very thoroughly. He was an anthropologist by career choice, but once he decided to serve, he went into the Army, and he went in through military intelligence. On his very first deployment, he was killed in Afghanistan 3 weeks into his tour. So I was his point person back home, and it was devastating, as you can imagine. And what happens on the civilian side, because my brother was on a classified mission, we could not get any information for close to 18 months. So we just had general information about how he died, which was in an MRAP, a large sort of tank. And it was definitely planted. We knew that just by the report, but we couldn't talk to anyone. So it was a very, very hard, challenging way to process the death of a sibling, my parents, a child, etc. So during that time, I had to do something with that pain. Very shortly after, I started investigating what it was that our combat injured veterans returning had to do to heal, because I was reached out through many, many people in Chris's life and in the military that got to know him, how they knew him. And it always surrounded fitness, whatever it was. They healed in the gym together. They talked very candidly while working out. He would take young high school, college kids into the gym to get them focused again and recentered. And oftentimes it would start a friendship, because that's where a lot of time your sweat brings out a lot of emotions. And I realized that holistically, our combat injured veterans returning had no way to heal besides being overly medicated through the VA, and also trying to heal themselves by numbing through substance abuse. So I did a lot of work down at Walter Reed Hospital with some incredible men and women down there. And this is where we started one by one. I started with a single double amputee down at Walter Reed, and we decided to bring fitness into their lives by providing a home equipment if they needed it, or a gym membership. And that was in 2010. We started with a few members, and from there, Catch a Lift has just absolutely skyrocketed. We now are nationwide. We serve in our program right now. We have over 7,100 combat injured veterans that are being healed through our 4 core pillars, which is nutrition, fitness, emotional wellness, and community. And we find that those 4 core pillars heal the entire person. It gets them back on track. They find a new purpose. They find who they are. And Melissa's going to touch on that, about how we really have dived into how these men and women heal. some of the things that we'd love to share with you today and have an open conversation is about the men and women that are in our program. 80% of the 7,000 have post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury. These men and women that we treat and work with are young individuals. The average age is 31 that come into the program. And it's a niche of combat injured veterans. So they've been downrange, they've been on missions, multiple deployments. And this is a very niche group of veterans that need a place to heal. They need a holistic method and they need community. And that's what Catch a Lift has offered in the 11 plus years we've been here. So during this conversation that we have with you, we want anyone on the team to either raise your hand, throw a question out, interrupt us, because we're all very passionate. We can talk forever about it. But I would like you to hear from the men and women in the program that started. Remember now, these are combat injured veterans. Sarah has a very unique and different story, but she was at the absolute beginning of this journey, and you'll find out why in a bit. But they came in as members and they started as Catch a Lift recipients, and now they are literally the leaders of our program, mentors, coaches, and people that men and women that we look up to that are literally running the program. So let me, with that, turn it over to Melissa Luke, who, and I am very honored to say that the Sarah, Melissa, and Jason not only work for Catch a Lift, give their time, their love, their minds, their bodies to us, but they have, I'm honored to call them friends as well over the years. So I'll pass this over to Melissa.
Thank you, Lynn, and thank you for everyone for having us today. As Lynn said, my name is Melissa Luke, and I am a U.S. Army Iraq war veteran. I served in Iraq from December 04 through December 05. I was a heavy equipment transporter, or a HET driver for short. I did convoys to every corner of Iraq. I would go on to accumulate over 20,000 combat driving miles throughout the country of Iraq. It was an interesting job to have at 18, 19 years old. Every day going out on the road on a convoy, it was like Russian roulette. Who's going to get hit by the IED today? That's an improvised explosive device, or maybe you've heard of it as like a roadside bomb. But every day when we'd go out, someone was going to get hit, and you never knew who. My truck would be hit by an IED in my 11th month, November of 2005. While in Iraq, one of the toughest things that I went through and suffered was the devastating effects of military sexual trauma while on the roads in Iraq. These injuries would have a lasting effects on me physically and mentally that I carry to this day. I had a very rough transition back home. I no longer felt like I belonged in the Army. My trust for other people was gone. My self-worth was non-existent. I tried to go back to college initially, but it became clear to me very quick that was not something I could handle. I was just completely defeated. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I was displaying erratic behavior, constant noise and light sensitivity. My head was in near constant pain. I was depressed, anxious, scared. I couldn't be around people, and slowly my circle became very, very small. I was on a ridiculously long list of prescription medications from the VA. I was on meds to wake up, to get through the day, regulate mood, regulate pain, meds to go to sleep. I lost many years of my life to just kind of being a zombie, going from major depressive episode to episode, PTS, chronic pain. I consider myself one of the lucky ones though. My husband, David, never stopped believing in me or my marriage. He encouraged me to look for alternatives to the pills the VA was prescribing me. He was also a fitness enthusiast. I would try at different times throughout the year to get back into the shape. You know, I'd make it 30 days, 60 days, few weeks, whatever it was, but I'd always end up quitting. I didn't enjoy what I was doing. Something would come up, you know, a mental or physical hurdle, maybe an anniversary date, and I just would crash. I would quit. I could not commit to a fitness lifestyle. Finally, there came a point, though, a little over 6 years ago, that I decided I needed to get back into shape. I needed to feel proud of myself again for something. This time when I started exercising, though, I approached it differently. I approached it from really a point of discipline where I was going to continue to exercise regardless of physical pain, mental pain, whatever might be going on. I was just going to do it anyway. And so I did that. I started doing a lot of high intensity cardio style workouts. I leaned out in no time, but I also was not fueling my body properly. There finally came a day I really looked at myself in the mirror, and this is something I had avoided since my time in Iraq, but I really looked at myself, and what I saw was this gaunt, hollow version of what I once was. And I knew in that moment I needed to make a big change in my life. Something had to change, if I was going to succeed in this fitness journey. So in that moment, I made the conscious decision to never tear my body down again. I would only build it up. Started bodybuilding, strength training. Prior to this would have never occurred to me as something that I could do. My thinking had changed, and the way I viewed my body had undeniably changed. I began reading and researching everything I could on training, and for the first time in years, I was showing interest in something. I researched nutrition. I learned how to eat to perform, and slowly, for the first time since I was in Iraq, I could look at myself in that mirror again, and I could be proud of what I saw. I saw, the muscles that I was getting, and just the effects of this disciplined lifestyle. But something else very important happened to me at that time. I realized that all those fitness attempts that I told you that I quit and I had failed, I realized I had not failed in those attempts. I just hadn't found my passion until now. So I came into the Catch Lift program in 2016 as a home gym grant recipient. And I was impacted in an absolutely incredible way by the Catch a Lift Fund, from everything from the resources and empowerment I received to the tribe that I received in this program. Something that happens to us post-service. We lose that tribe, we lose that close-knit community of our brothers and sisters, and it's absolutely devastating. Cal gave me that tribe back. Catch a Lift pushed me to pursue my true strength and to pursue the sport of strongman, which was something I had dreamed of doing. But again, I still didn't really believe I was strong enough or I deserved those things. It was Lynn, Coffland, and my tribe at Cal that, made me believe, yes, you are strong enough. You can do that. I'm now happy to say I've competed multiple places all over the country in the sport of strongman. I absolutely just love it. It's my passion. And, even greater than that, though, I am now honored to serve as the head coach and the Women's Fitness Initiative lead for the Catch a Lift Fund. On a daily basis, I have the great opportunity to serve beside a group of 10 plus certified CAL coaches and mentors who came through the program themselves and have found success. Our coaches and mentors provide motivation, support, training plans for our veteran members across the United States. Our coaches and mentors are truly always there for our veteran members, whether it's fitness, nutrition support, or lending an ear in the dark of the night to a fellow brother or sister. One of the truly impactful ways Catch a Lift aided in my personal recovery was providing me with different outlets to tell my story. I learned firsthand the power of standing in your truth and sharing it with the world. I'm now very proud to be the host of the Catch a Lift Fund Coaches Corner, which is a weekly podcast we produce and put out. On the Coaches Corner, we primarily invite on CAL veteran athletes to tell their stories of service, transition, recovery, and hope. At CAL, we believe every veteran's story is worth telling and being heard. We are accessible on all major streaming platforms, or you can come chat with us live every Wednesday at 1 Eastern time on our live show on YouTube. But otherwise, I'd invite you to look up Catch Lift Fund Coaches Corner on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, wherever you listen to podcasts. That's just a little bit about me and how the Catch a Lift Fund has made a tremendous impact on my life and my brothers and sisters. And if anybody has any questions right now for me, I'm more than happy to answer.
You guys, if you have any questions for our panelists, please feel free to put them in the chat as we go. I'll read them out and I'll ask them for you.
Otherwise, too, here we can roll over, and it's a great honor of mine to introduce retired U.S. Army veteran Jason Livingston. Jason, take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Livingston, retired United States Army. I'm dual service. So I actually came into military service in 2000. I graduated a year early from high school, enlisted in the Navy as a CB, and I was stationed down in Gulfport, Mississippi. I transitioned from the Navy to the Army in 2004 because I just wanted to do something completely different than what I had already been doing. So I came in combat arms. I deployed to both Baghdad, Iraq, and Logar Province, Afghanistan. Actually, the 1st of October 2010, I was on my way to my E6 promotion board and was hit, or our JCOP was hit with incoming enemy mortar fire. So I had 4 82mm mortar rounds dropped on top of me. I ended up taking shrapnel through the left side of my neck, the base of my skull. And at the same time, I had the right side of my head smashed against the building. So I had 2 multiple head traumas at the same time. I came into Catch a Lift. Of course, this was after my retirement. I came into Catch a Lift. I was actually in a wheelchair and told that I'd never walk unassisted again. My highest weight, I was just shy of 300 pounds. Whenever I was released from launch school, I was actually stationed in Germany. When I was released from launch school, I was given back to my wife, and the hospital told her that until I could become more cognitively aware of what was going on, that they couldn't do anything else for me. My wife told me that it was like having a full-grown toddler there with her that she had to take care of. I lost over a year, about a year. So about 3 months prior to about 9 months after, I don't remember anything from that point. My daughter was actually born while I was in Afghanistan. I did get to see her born through a webcam, and I got to meet her for the first time just prior to my injury in Afghanistan. And all of that was lost. I don't remember seeing her for the first time. I don't remember holding her for the first time. So it's kind of one of those things where both my daughter and I almost grew up together. So we have a very close relationship, and that was a huge motivational driver for me. Was whenever she was about 3-4 years old, she starts drawing pictures, and she drawing pictures with the family, with me, with her. And she starts drawing pictures, with me, with a wheelchair, walking with crutches. And, then it came to the point where she was starting asking when she was going to get a wheelchair, when was she going to get crutches. And, as a dad, that really had a huge impact on me. That it broke my heart to think that that's how my daughter perceived, or, thought that that was normal. That's what you're supposed to do. So I got linked in with Catch a Lift in 2015, I do believe. And I went from there. Within the first year, I was out of a wheelchair. I was walking with assistance. I had dropped some weight and just continued to push forward. And by my second year, I was walking independently. I had dropped over 100 pounds, and I was just starting to move forward. PTSD for me has always been a huge struggle. It's been one of those things that has followed me throughout my entire life. it has a huge impact. You know, I would wake up in the middle of the night, and I would be low crawling across the floor. Unfortunately, just because of how, you know, PTSD affects, I do have dissociative episodes where I don't know where I'm at. I am reliving Afghanistan all over again. So you know, and it's been in the middle of the night where I've attacked my wife. You know, she didn't do anything. It was just, I had no idea what was going on. So that's always been a huge struggle for me. Just, you know, how do you deal with that? And that's where Catch Lift came in. So I originally came into the Catch Lift program, and I had a gym membership, and I quickly realized that because of all the medical appointments and everything that, you know, I had going on, I couldn't make it there because I was driving almost every other day 2 hours down to Columbia, South Carolina, to go to multiple VA appointments. And so I transitioned from that to in-home equipment, which allowed me greater access. And so, you know, during the night, whenever I had those issues, whenever I'd wake up, whenever I would, you know, have the flashbacks and all that, I could go out to my garage and I could lift. And that's really where, you know, everything turned for me, was having that direct access to be able to have a healthy outlet for PTSD. Something, again, like I said, it's followed me from very early in life. I've actually dealt with PTSD prior to my military service. I was actually I was sexually abused from the age of 3 until 12, and that really had a huge impact on things like drugs and alcohol for me. So early on, I learned to deal with my emotions through drugs and alcohol, and I did struggle with you know, drug abuse, alcoholism, all of that. So, you know, for me, having that healthy outlet was something that was very important to me post deployment injury, because I knew that I could no longer turn back to that. I can no longer rely on drugs or alcohol. I can no longer rely on prescription pills to help, you know, make it through that. So you know, I'm proud to say that I continue to serve the veterans in our veteran community and those athletes that we bring into Catch Lift through all of my past experiences, whether it's with drugs and alcohol, whether it's with PTSD or TBI, whether it's, you know, adapting exercises, whatever they need. I've been on the phone at, you know, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning with veterans, just because they were having issues. They needed somebody to be there for them. And that is where, you know, my passion has really developed, is being able to be that direct plug into you know, what our veterans need, and to be able to help provide those resources and to be there for them, and to coach, mentor. All of that is just a huge part of my life now, and giving back through Catch a Lift, and you know, using, like I said, those past experiences that I had to get somebody from where I once was to where they want to be at, to where they're healthy, to where they are able to function with their family, to have that quality of life. I've always been told that I was told I'd never walk again. I was told that I could never do this. I was told I could never lift. I was told so many things that I could never do. And I'm here with Catch Lift telling all the veterans that come in that you can, that there's no reason that you can't. And I will fight tooth and nail every single day to make sure that those veterans know that they can, no matter what, they can. And that's the biggest thing that Catch Lift brings to the table, is having us as coaches, having that understanding and being in their shoes, having been there ourselves, and telling them, yes, you can.
Jason, thank you so much for your amazing story. And I hope you guys see some of the great things in the comments. Like Ken says, stay strong, brother. Frank says, thank you for your amazing story. And thank you for what you've done for our country. Liz says, you can do it. You're strong. I admire everything you've accomplished already. Stay strong. Keep pushing forward. I think you guys are hearing a lot of the effect, right? That made me so passionate about it, right? Cal Strong. That's why I love this shirt, because I am so inspired by these people. They show me what strong really means. So I don't want to take any more time away, but I just wanted to thank you, Jason, and make sure you guys saw some of that. And go ahead, Sarah, I'll turn it on over. Jason, if you were finished, I will.
Yeah, Jackie, thank you. I was gonna also just share with the guest that, you know, the men and women here today, they're incredible warriors on the battlefield, but for them to tell their story and share it is so personal, and it takes, I think, sometimes more bravery than that on a battlefield to be so vulnerable. So I thank you for listening with an open heart and mind, and I thank Sarah, Jason, and Melissa for that. And before we go on to Sarah, and I know Sarah will have things to add to this as well, could Jason and Melissa just touch on where the program has moved from the first initiation of simply a gym or equipment, and now this full program that we're offering with coaching, mentoring, the wellness program. If you could just touch on that, that would be really great.
So the program has changed a lot through the years, and especially since I came in around 2016. So over the past, we started really changing stuff a lot in 2017, rolling into 2018. And one of the first things we did is we created an interview process. So the first thing a veteran does when they come into our program, once their paperwork is approved, they sit down and they do a video interview with myself or one of our certified coaches who has been through the program. And what we're looking to do in that interview is really identify on the front end if there's any outstanding obstacles that are going to stand in that veteran's way for program success, for a successful, healthy future. We help identify that on the front end, and just, really figuring out where the veteran is at injury-wise and what they need. We've added in several other great things here that I'll touch on briefly. So COVID, changed a lot for us, as it did for everybody, and it forced us kind of to reevaluate how we were doing our programs and everything. And so now when a veteran comes in, again, they still do that video interview with one of our team members. From there, they go into a 12-week accountability phase of our wellness program. And during that 12 weeks, they have their choice. If they want to go and start using resistance bands, they can go work with a resistance band coach, do bands. If they come in and they have amount of weight to lose, we have a dedicated nutritionist that will work with those veterans. Or if they just need general coaching, they get paired up with one of our coaches. And for 12 weeks, that coach is there to help motivate them, keep them accountable, and really in its simplest form, help them build a fitness discipline and a lifestyle that's going to be sustainable for that individual veteran. Because what we all know is that if it's not sustainable for you long term, because everyone has different individual situations, you're going to keep running up against a wall. So that's what we really look to do during that first 12 weeks. We get them with a coach who's a brother or sister of theirs who's been through the program, get them working out, but doing body weight, doing bands. Once they successfully complete that 12-week accountability phase, they then are eligible for a grant of their choice into a gym of their choice or home equipment, depending on what that individual veteran needs.
Thanks, Melissa. I think a lot of that veteran to veteran is just what makes the program so successful. And Catch a Lift pays for and has our veterans that are eligible candidates become certified and accredited in a global accreditation for whatever discipline that is their passion and that the Catch a Lift needs. So the veteran then gives back 40 hours of volunteer service to their fellow brother and sister. So that cycle of give back, of service continues. And then some of those are hired by Catch a Lift or volunteer for Catch a Lift, and they're on the team as certified coaches. So you can imagine if you're a single or double leg amputee and you're speaking to a coach that is a single or double leg amputee or severe PTS, TBI, and you're talking to a coach that's walked that walk and been there, it's a very different story and a very different outcome, which we have found to be some of our highest success. So Jason, you want to introduce the rudder rider up there?
Yes. So I would like to introduce Sarah Rudder. She is one of our coaches on our coaching team. She does competitive CrossFit, and all around she's an amazing athlete and one of our amazing coaches. So I'll turn it over to Sarah.
Thank you. I'm Sarah Rudder. I am a United States Marine. Once we enlist, we never exit. So we are always Marines. For me, I knew I wanted to be a Marine at the age of 12. I had seen them at an air show one time, and I saw the silent drill team, and I immediately was just drawn to them, just the discipline. And I looked at them and I said, Mom, that's what I want to do. And I got yeah, okay. So every single year it was still want to be a Marine, still want to be a Marine. And at the age of 16, they agreed to allow me to enlist. So when I was 15 and a half, I was actually going to school in England at the time because my dad worked at British Aerospace. And I was playing professional soccer over there. And I came back to the United States to join the Marine Corps. And that's when they knew I was serious about my career path, because I was leaving something that I loved in order to do something that I loved even more. So at 17 years old, I was in boot camp, and so I'm sorry. So after hearing everyone's stories, it's just, I'm still trying to, I mean, Jason and Melissa, just, they have my heart all the time. So after boot camp, I was at my second duty station, which was headquarters Marine Corps. We were at headquarters Marine Corps is actually on the Arlington Cemetery. It's located across the street from the Pentagon. And coming up on this year is 20 years since my injury. And so for me, my injuries actually started August, Labor Day weekend. My husband, he was my fiance at the time. He's actually my husband now. So it's a good 20 years for both of us of marriage and injury. So I kind of balanced out this year. If I didn't have my husband in my life now, I don't know where I would be, because he's seen me go through all of my injuries and made sure he was at every single appointment, every single surgery. And for me, it was what got me through this. So Labor Day weekend, we were on our way to meet his family for the first time, and our car hydroplaned and hit a center divider head on at 70 miles an hour. My seatbelt malfunctioned, and I was tossed around the car. I developed a brain injury. I broke my nose, I broke my rib, and I broke my scapula, and I was lifeline to the hospital. 3 days later, I reported back to duty at the Marine Corps, at Henderson Hall. And I was informed that I was being promoted. And so I was excited. Finally, some good news after massive headaches and road rage and my arm in a sling. My promotion date was September 11th, 2001. And I was being promoted across the street from the Pentagon that day. And immediately following my presentation, or my promotion, the Pentagon was hit, and we were located across the street in front. As soon as the Pentagon was hit, we all ran into the building and began separating people based on their injuries. We had tarps, and those signified what we had to do with those people, whether they were to go to the hospital or whether they were to be transported to the base to receive care from corpsmen to keep the hospitals open, or to be lifeline to a hospital. So as we were going in and out, we began separating the people, and the fire burned all night long. And I just remember moving all night, all day, ensuring that I could do what I could, because that's what we were trained to do. The next day, we went back in when the fire was out, and we began removing those who didn't survive. When I was removing non-survivors, I stepped into a hole and I had crushed my left leg, and I didn't know at the time. And I continued removing people for an additional 24 hours. After that time was up, I sat down for the first time, and I realized that I couldn't take my boot off. And the pain started to set in, and I finally went to the hospital, and I was given crutches, and I was told that I had shattered my leg. I had shattered my ankle, and I was discharged quite quickly after that, because war had began, and they didn't know what to do with us that were injured that day, or for the first 5 years of the war that people were injured. They really didn't have a plan for us besides go to the VA. So at that point, I went to the VA. I didn't know about brain injuries. I didn't know about PTSD. They didn't recognize it at that time. So for me, I thought it was normal to drink as much as I did, to take pills as much as I did, to go out and have no care in the world, pretty much. I would fight. That's how I dealt with it. Men, women, it didn't matter. I had so much anger in me that I didn't know why, and that was the only way, and the only reason I knew how to get it out was to fight. And after several years of that behavior, my husband had given me the ultimatum of getting help for myself, or it wasn't going to work. So I decided to go in and speak to somebody. And at that point, I was diagnosed with my brain injury and PTSD. And for me, being diagnosed was, yes, it's horrible being told that you have that, but for some reason, it's also relief, because for so many years, I felt that something was wrong with me, but I didn't know what, and I didn't know how to explain it to anybody, because I wasn't in the veteran community anymore. So people didn't understand where I was at or why I was acting the way I did. And I was finally diagnosed, and I started slowly talking about it. Unfortunately, that's when all the pills started to rack on too. So pills to go to sleep, pills to forget dreams, pain, nerve damage. I went through 13 years of leg reconstructive surgeries. I've had my Achilles cut and lengthened. I've had the cartilage from my knee taken out and put into my ankle to try and put some cushion in there for the bones. But within 6 months, my bones would shatter and eat the cartilage again. Eventually, I had rods and screws put in. I had them taken out. I had them put them back in again. And at one point, I developed nerve damage, which started to spread up my leg. And that was the most pain I had ever felt in my life. And I remember that I felt like I was stuck, that I was going to be in this pain for the rest of my life. and I just have to deal with it. So I tried to get back to life as what I felt was normal. I tried to go to school. I tried to get a job, and it just, it made my dreams, it made my anger, it made so much even worse that I can handle on my plate. So I would quit immediately. I would try, I would quit, I would try, I'd quit, just like Melissa had said. And for me, I realized that I was trying for everybody else, but I wasn't trying for myself. I had to reach the point to where I needed to do it for me. And I finally reached that point after I had my son, and he was 5 years old, and I was on crutches and a cane still since he was born. And he was kicking a ball with me, and he was about to run into the street. And at that point, I realized if a car came, I couldn't save him. As much as I wanted to, I couldn't kick the ball with my son. I couldn't chase him. I couldn't teach him how to ride a bike. I couldn't do all these things that a mother was supposed to do, because the alcohol and the pills and the anger took over my life. The not being able to sleep, just as Jason had said, I would get into a moment where I'd stare into space and I'd black out everything, and I'd feel that I was right back there that day, and nothing around me existed except me and the Pentagon. And it was constant. So for me, I finally decided at that point, that day, that it was time to make a change. So for me, I went to the hospital, we talked options, and within 3 weeks after that appointment, my leg was amputated. And a week after that, I saw one of the Catch a Lift Fund members, Ryan Major. He's missing 2 legs, and he only has a few fingers on one hand, but he does whatever he could with what he had. And here I was complaining about me having an amputation below the knee, and he was racing around the track. And so at that point, I contacted Catch a Lift Fund, and I was given a barbell, a rack, and some weights. And I started lifting slowly every single day and changing my routine every single day and figuring out what I could do with what I had. And I learned that just from that, that's what became my passion and my love, was how I could get through the day and be a mom and still be there for my child, and learn how to deal with what I have through balance, through strength, through focus, everything that I could. And once I was in there, I developed a passion for CrossFit. So I drank the Kool-Aid, I'm sorry, yes. I've been doing CrossFit now for 5 years, and I would say it's changed my life immensely. Catch a Lift Fund has been there to support me with equipment, with my certification, and with my tribe and everyone that's there. So for me, I started out, my heaviest was, I got up to 208 pounds, and I'm only 5'4". And I was on 14 medications at the time. Now, since Catch a Lift Fund, I have lost 100 pounds. I have gained 20 pounds of muscle. I have reduced 14 medications, and I'm also coaching brothers and sisters in the program that were in my shoes. And that became my purpose, is helping my brothers and sisters get to a point to where we are today. It's not easy, and I will never lie to them, and I'm always there for them since day one. But we were in their shoes, and that's the biggest thing, is we know how they are, how they feel in day one, but we also know where they could be by year one. So for us, it's we've been through it, and for us to support those who are going through it now, for me, it is become my purpose and my new way of life. And I couldn't thank them enough for what they have done for me and allowing me to take care of my brothers and sisters once again.
You all are so inspiring to me, and I'm sure other people that are on this call. I mean, when you talk about overcoming and revolutionizing yourself in a very difficult way, that's just so amazing. And I think that, you know, if there's any questions out there, please feel free. We got about 10 more minutes or so. Please, any questions or comments. But something that I heard, I think it was Melissa that actually said it, but it resonated with each of you, was, you know, learning how to just stand in your truth, right? And how strong that makes you. And if you could just speak to that, because I think that everybody can benefit from understanding and learning how to stand in their truth, and what that means.
For me, standing in my truth would be facing who you were at your darkest time and coming to terms with it and saying it's okay to be where you're at, but also let yourself know that we can continue from here and we can better ourselves from here. So to be able to accept our past and share it with others allows us to be true to them and ourselves to get through the hard days.
Well, and I think, Jason, you'll probably, I know you were going to say something, but I just wanted to touch on what Jackie said, that what's interesting, Jackie, and again, I'm speaking as a civilian, you know, seeing thousands of veterans come through. When they come in, they are searching for their truth because they have forgotten or have misplaced. All the men and women in our program have been told they cannot serve anymore. So they're being stripped of what they wanted to do. So they have to find, they don't even know when they're coming in their truth, if that makes sense. And as they have community with men and women, Sarah, Jason, Melissa, and the other men and women that are in the program, this is where they start to find what their truth is again. Would you agree with that? I know Jason was going to say something.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. For me, you know, for me, standing in my truth, yeah, I have a very long history with a lot of different issues. But one thing that was consistent for me was the fact of, you know, being told that I was, you know, never good enough, or, you know, I couldn't do something, you know, for whatever reason. You know, after my injury, you know, being told, hey, you know, hey, you're losing your soldiers. You know, I was set to redeploy again, and you know, I was training these men to lead them into combat once again. You know, I think for me, that was the hardest thing, was losing my purpose. You know, my whole purpose, my entire adult life, was being in the military, leading men into combat. So losing that purpose, losing all of that was who I was. You know, I wasn't anybody. I wasn't anything else. I had already committed 10 years of my life to military service. I was committed to the rest of my life. I had no plans. I had no plan B. I had no backup. The United States Army was who I was, what I was, and it's what I still am today. I'm still that same non-commissioned officer today as I was 10 years ago. But for me, what it means to stand in my truth is, I felt that I had something taken from me on October 1st, 2010. I had my entire life. I had my career. I had my family. Everything was taken from me. And, you know, you get told over and over and over again, you are a disabled veteran. You are disabled. You have no other purpose other than being disabled. And I'm here today because I refuse to accept that. I absolutely 100% refuse to accept that. I I refuse to go back into a wheelchair. And at times, you know, I still have my wheelchair to this day. It sits in my garage in front of where I have to work out at. And every time that I feel that I can't give anymore, I look at that wheelchair and knowing full well that if I stop, if I quit, if I give up, I'm going back in that wheelchair. And you know, owning that truth has helped me to be defiant, if you will. I'm defiant to the end, and I will never ever give up.
I love
And
that word.
That is something that I really try to impress upon every single one of the veterans that I come in contact with is defy the word no, defy the word quit. You know, it's that simple. For me, being able to take back that part of my life is me taking back October 1st, 2010, when I had somebody try to take my life. And for the longest time they did. They took my life. And Catch Lift has helped me take it back.
We want to know, there's a great question out there from Ashley. You know, how can people help? How can we help you more? And we only have a couple more minutes left, and I know we want to wrap up, everybody's got busy schedules, but like, how can people help the Catch a Lift program?
Absolutely. Jackie, thanks for asking that. And thanks, Ashley. You know, first, you know, we're always looking for volunteers. So virtually, we have opportunities. Also, we have some events coming up in Chicago, Baltimore, Connecticut, Northern Virginia. So if anyone's in those areas and would like to learn more, that would be wonderful. Also, if you have any friends or families that work at companies that would also love to have a session like this, we'd love any introductions. And last but not least, you know, our programs still need funding. So, you know, any contribution of any size is always appreciated. And yeah, you know, it's most important that we can share our mission with like-minded individuals. So we're really grateful to be on this call. And I did put my email and phone number in the chat as well, if anyone would like to learn more.
Yeah, we have one more question here. We have Logan asking, do you see veterans getting more support now that there is more information about the trauma experienced by veterans? If not, what do you think is needed to fully support veterans?
I'll jump really quickly on that, and then if anyone else wants to jump in really fast. The thing about Catch a Lift is it's every single day of your life. So there are many nonprofits that do good work. We run at 86 cents to every dollar goes to the program. We're very proud of that. And we are there for every day. So yes, there are more nonprofits. Oftentimes there's a large majority that offer a singular, perhaps a trip or an event, something like that. But also career type nonprofits trying to get veterans back to work. But what we have to look at, that we look at, and we try to make awareness to the American people, that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of combat injured veterans that have been earmarked unemployable, that have been earmarked that they cannot do things, and that their disability ratings have put them into a specific group. And we are breaking that barrier where we're saying, you can be who you want to be. You might have to shift it and reinvent it, but we're here, and it's every single day. Scientifically, 180 minutes of exercise releases enough endorphins that can affect and help ease the daily burdens of post-traumatic stress. And we provide that. We provide the wellness that would, if you can go back to work, you have to be healthy. And that's where we step in.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I personally want to not only thank you all for your service, but thank you for your journey, and thank you for being here for us to share this mission and to help your brothers and sisters and to continue to serve stateside through all that you've been through. So I appreciate you so much. EPM, thank you so much for being here today. If anybody wants any information on Catch a Lift, I'm your girl, but you can also find them at catchalift.org. Jessica's information is in there, but I can get you in contact with all of them. And I hope that maybe we'll have a workout fitness challenge in our corporate EPM gym. And if any of you guys are near Atlanta, you can come work out with us. It sounds like it would be a good time.
I love it. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. LA, I think we're a wrap. Cal strong. Stay Cal strong.
Yes.
Cal strong. Thank you.
Thank you.